Hello, my name is Katie Rose, and this is my ministry assessment using the Making Healthy Disciples program. For this project, I have been evaluating my home church, Hess Road Wesleyan, and the adult ministries available there. This is a picture of the sanctuary portion of our facility and the church's logo. My ministry mentor is Matthew Rose. He's been on staff at Hess Road full-time since 2003, and in 2012 his title actually changed from teaching pastor to discipleship pastor to help focus his responsibilities. Yes, we are related, in case you noticed the last name. Matthew's my husband. It's been interesting working together on something like this. I think I get a little more freedom to be critical of what we're doing at Hess Road, and if there's something that might need to change, it's easier to discuss that. I wanted to start with my list of key qualities for a disciple. I developed several points for each of the 12 areas listed on the Making Healthy Disciples program, but I think these 7 would be the most important ones. The first key quality of disciples is that they are a professing believer in Jesus Christ. They should either be baptized or in the process of becoming baptized. Next, they regularly attend church services and fellowship with others in the church body. Taking the time to build relationships and worship corporately is important, so we want to emphasize that. Disciples are committed to pray and read Scripture daily. Praying is how we talk to God, and Scripture helps us connect with Him and learn about Him, so disciples should have a desire for that. It's important for that to be a part of their routine. Disciples are also involved in education classes. We can read the Bible on our own and try to interpret and understand things, but it's really important to be connected with other people as we go through that process to make sure we're right on track and continuing to learn. The best way to recognize if someone is a disciple or not is if they have the same attributes and attitudes as Christ. This would include the fruit of the Spirit found in Galatians 5, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. The name Christian literally means little Christ, so a disciple should be acting as Christ acts. Disciples serve others with their talents, skills, and spiritual gifts. And lastly, another key quality of disciples is that they connect with non-Christians so that they can share the gospel message with them. Disciples are supposed to make disciples, but that can't happen unless we're interacting with people who don't know Jesus. I took the programs in our church that adults are involved in, and then I divided them based on which category I felt was their primary purpose. I was surprised to see that nothing ended up in the winning category. Excuse me. Building was definitely our strongest area, with 7 programs focused on this objective. Worship services, Sunday school, fellowship, soup cafe, prayer meeting, grow groups, midweek Bible study, and summer seminars. And then only a couple programs for equipping, hospitality and team of trustees, a few for multiplying, Awana, Kid Zone, and Meal Aid. We then looked at each of these programs and rated them on a specific growth issue. Here's just a quick glance at the chart that I made for that. Our findings showed that our strongest areas were healthy relationships, spiritual gifts, talents, and Christian service. And according to this chart, our weakest areas were Bible memory, worship, and stewardship. I feel that we do have a strong emphasis on a lifestyle of worship and stewardship, but it was difficult to track with this assessment since those general concepts aren't built into our specific programs. It's something I wanted to look further into, but what I felt was most concerning was the lack of a program that would consider primarily about reaching people for salvation. So I looked at how we could better emphasize this in one of our existing programs. Our small group ministry, which we call Grow Groups, is the perfect opportunity we're not taking advantage of to focus on winning people to Christ. This has more to do with a mentality shift rather than the program needing a complete overhaul. They can still meet when they want and use whatever material they're using, but we need them to incorporate these strategies if we hope to see growth that's based on new believers. So with that emphasis in mind, the new goal of these Grow Groups is for disciples to be equipped to lead someone to Christ and consistently speak about Jesus in their daily conversations in such a way that results in a multiplication of Grow Group members. So how are we going to accomplish this? Well, 1, all current group leaders will attend a training program to learn key aspects important to leading someone to Christ. The leader will then in turn educate their Grow Group members in the same way, and training will be repeated on a yearly basis. 2, at group meetings, members will be accountable to report on any opportunities they have had to witness to someone in their daily lives that week, whether they were opportunities taken or opportunities missed. Number 3, groups will specifically pray over one another for boldness and awareness of opportunities to share Christ. And each member will have one person in mind they will consistently be praying for until that person becomes a Christian. When a group member does lead someone to Christ, it is their responsibility to come alongside that individual and get them connected to a grow group. And groups will enforce an empty chair policy at each meeting. There's always to be an empty seat at meetings to help the members visualize there's always room for one more member and to be thinking about who they could invite to fill that space. When there's not room for an empty chair, it's an indication that the group is ready to split into 2 groups to help continue that growth process. And number 7, all groups will be responsible for 2 community-based service projects each year that will help them build relationships with non-church people in the community. I've really appreciated going through this material. It wasn't really new information for me, but it was coming from a slightly different angle than what I've been used to. It gave us an opportunity to take a closer look at things and evaluate our discipleship on a different level. I would definitely like to do the same assessment process for all the age groups at our church to evaluate for any gaps that we have, and then annually reassess all the ministries to see what low score areas we could focus on. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing your feedback.